Russia is closing in on Ukraine's capital, taking out a TV station and sending a 65-kilometre-long convoy of tanks to the city. A series of shelling attacks has killed more than a dozen people in Kyiv and Kharkiv after residents were warned to leave. But the Ukrainian president remains defiant, saying nobody will break his country.
A devastating strike right at the heart of Ukraine's second-largest city. The Russian missile hit without warning. Cars can be seen driving close to the explosion in Kharkiv's Freedom Square. The target was the city's Region State Administration building. This footage shows the aftermath. The scale of the destruction tells of the force of the blast. Local leaders say the attack also struck nearby residential buildings.
There were no military facilities there to be targeted. The strike of the Independence Square is a crime that will not be forgotten. This is an international act of terror from the Russian Federation. We call on all countries of the world to react to this act of aggression and to announce that Russia is carrying out terrorist actions.
Despite meeting fierce resistance, the Russians continue to inch ever closer to their ultimate goal, the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. This satellite image shows a Russian military convoy stretching for about 40 miles, far, far bigger than initially thought. The head of the column, when this image was taken, was about 15 miles north of Kyiv. And as Russian troops continue their march on the capital, Boris Johnson, visiting allies in Poland, had this message for their leader.
I say to Vladimir Putin and his regime, there is only one way out of this morass, and that is to stop the tanks, to turn back the tanks on their way to Kyiv, turn them round and take the path to peace.
The Ukrainian president's courageous leadership is inspiring his countrymen and uniting Western leaders. In his address to a special session of EU leaders, he called for total condemnation of Russia's aggression.
On behalf of the European Parliament, I condemn the Russian military aggression against Ukraine in the strongest possible terms and express my solidarity with all those suffering and all those killed.
The reception for Russia's foreign minister could not have been more different. Diplomats from Britain, the United States and Europe boycotting his remotely delivered speech in Geneva.
This country is being dragged into NATO, but the country is being flooded with offensive weapons, and this is a country that has openly made territorial claims against the Russian Federation and threatened to use force and to acquire military nuclear capabilities.
As the number of dead and injured continues to rise, so does the number of terrified families seeking refuge from war. These children among the latest to cross Ukraine's border into Poland seeking sanctuary. They do not know how long they will be here, and indeed, if they will have anything to return to. Ashish Joshi, Sky News.